Hello, everyone. Happy penultimate end of Inktoberfest. I can't know really where the month's gone. In some ways, it feels like it's been forever, and in other ways, it feels like we're like a week into it and we should have loads more time. So I'm not really sure where I am with it. But tomorrow night, we'll have a special one. We'll have extra giveaways, extra prizes. Um, all kinds of stuff on there as well. And then we're actually going to extend it a little bit into the weekend with something too. So I'll tell you more about that one tomorrow night. But tonight we're going to be talking about embossing powders a little bit more. We obviously talked about them pre last night a little bit. Some tips and tricks and things on there as well. I already sent out the email of today's special offers, so 50% off some of the things we'll be using tonight and some other things in there as well. We've got the smusher. If you've never used a smusher, it's your perfect even tool. The layered pumpkin patch stencil I'm going to use tonight, the mixed media paper, 20 pack of vellum, the powdered snow, which you're going to see, the Tyvek tags, which you will have in your kits. They are on tonight. And also the inkable glitter, because I'm going to show you some things we can do with that once you mix it with your embossing powders and things as well. So, Jen says, if you don't have a smusher, grab one. It's the best. It really is. And I lost mine. I need to grab one myself. I don't really know where it went. I put it somewhere safe, I'm sure. But let me go here and we'll replace the spotlight. So I grabbed out a few tags and things here. And so embossing powders are fun. So here I have my clear and I have my black. I also grabbed some ultra thick because I want to talk about ultra thick. It's a really fun um, medium to work with the doctor. So let's let everybody in. If you've never worked with ultra thick embossing powder, it's really nice. You do need a thicker glue, so you can use your Make Color Hive clear with it. I do find that the embossing markers don't work so well, but also if you put your re-inker through a stencil, then you can use it that way too. That's another way to get a little bit of a thicker coat down because it needs some good adhesion to stick it because you see these particles are way, way bigger. If I open up a standard embossing powder, and then you look at the ultra thick. But what these are going to give you is that chunky distressed look. They're great for doing large surface areas. They're great for creating glazes, all those kinds of things as well. So for instance, if you wanted to cover this whole pumpkin, this is going to do it for you. Or if you want to make a whole piece, you can cover this in embossing powder and you can create like a silver background and then you can alcohol ink on top of it. So if you've got the silver or the white, or even if you put black down or clear, you can then create a portion of your project that you can alcohol ink on. So that's where ultra thicks come in and they're really fun as glazes. You can also mix embossing powders. So you can create your own mix. Remember before we made the Forte, I used to create all sorts of mixes. This one was called Tuppence. So in here I had copper, which was an ultra thick. And then I had some yellows, some oranges in here. And I also used to have these mini mica flakes that you could add in for embossing powders. Again, you're going to want to use a thicker embossing glue on there. And these are a very specialized flake. I haven't had success in finding ones quite like this yet, but I'm sure we'll get to those because for creative alchemy, they're going to be really fun to use. But just to kind of give you an idea, you don't have to put the big flakes in if you don't want to, but you can absolutely create your own custom blends like we used to as well. So that's another thing you can do to customize your embossing powders. What else can you mix into embossing powders? So I have a ton of stuff here. You can create scented embossing powders. You want to take embossing powder. I would say 3 to 4 parts embossing powder, 1 part sugar-free Kool-Aid. That's the way to do it. So sugar-free Kool-Aid is how you're going to create your own scented embossing powders. And so you can add them to any color, anything. So if you want to do oranges or watermelon or I don't know, whatever you want to do, but it has to be the sugar free because if you have the one with sugar in it, it will burn when you heat emboss it. Okay, so that's kind of the key with that as well. So you want to make sure that you have the sugar-free Kool-Aid. So that will work as well for a scratch and sniff type style technique. You can get ones that have like evergreen and things in them as well, but you have to be really careful with the powdered scents. So I always just stick with the sugar-free Kool-Aid as one as well. You can create your own custom colors. So there's a few different ways to do it. One is a lot easier than the other. Most anything with water, glycerin, or alcohol ink is out. Alcohol ink is out because it will catch fire, and it won't work. In anything with water and glycerin, like your regular reinkers, doesn't work either. So the only way to do it, well, there's two ways. One, you can use powdered RIT dye. So if you take clear embossing powder or white embossing powder and you add powdered RIT dye to it, you'll get a really fun technique when you heat it. And you're going to want, like, I would say 6 parts embossing powder, 5 to 6 parts embossing powder to 1 part RIT dye. But you can absolutely do your own version of that. It has to be the powdered as well. Yes, I will try to make sure they're all in there. I have it on my list. I've been starting to do them. I have a lot of recipe cards at this point, so I need to somehow thin them down, but I will try to make sure you have all the recipes in there as well. Can you use the chunky in place of double embossing? For example, in a class, they had us double emboss in silver. So yes, you can, but you'll still probably want to double emboss. The reason is the way, so this, you think of this like toner. So you put the powder down and it melts. So by doing a second one, it fills in all of those gaps. Even with using the ultra thick, I still tend to do that as well. I've never used the tie-dye powder. I just use the regular RIT powder dye. The scent lasts a long time. And you just have to put a little note on it that says scratch and sniff, or like a little note inside that says scratch your card, because it's friction activated. So the whole card isn't going to smell. I used to have a Christmas tree scented green ink. I had it for years. I don't even know where I got it. But that was really fun. So you can do things like that too. And maybe we'll cover that in the Christmas class if I remember. I can show you all how to do that. Because you can make scented inks, but you have to do it in a certain way. So just someone will have to remind me to make sure I have everything before the class. So whoever doesn't have a memory like a goldfish like me can maybe send me an email or a note to remind me. So yes, so you can do that. You can mix ultra thick and regular embossing powders. They don't all have to be the same thickness. RIT dye will work. What else can you put in? That's kind of the only way I've ever found to actually color my own embossing powder. But the scented is fine. Then you can also, say for instance, you're working with the black here or a darker color. You can mix in some kaleidoscope powder or some of our new pearl dust, and you can create interference-based embossing. So you can do that too. So you can mix pearl dust, kaleidoscope powder, and your black embossing powder. And I would say a 3-to-1 ratio would be good. So 3 parts embossing powder, 1 part of this, and then you'll get a nice interference in it. The more you put in of the pearl dust, the stronger obviously the interference is going to be in it. Again, you could also take the colors, kaleidoscope powders, mix them in with your clear, like we used to have neon colors, and you would get some fun effects in that as well. So you can mix in your micas, your pigments, your chameleon powders, all those things you can mix with your embossing powders for some fun techniques. So that's another one you can add in. You can also add in our chunky glitter. So this is our chunky version. If I was going to mix this in, I'd throw in a little bit of ultra thick to hold these larger pieces. And then you can really throw it in with any other color. So say, for instance, you wanted to do, I don't know, white and this. I would take some white regular embossing powder, or if you have ultra thick, and then mix this in plus maybe some clear ultra thick. So if you're going to use regular powder, add a little bit of ultra thick to it because that's going to hold these little pieces or these larger pieces of glitter a bit more. But other than that, any of our glitters, so say for instance, we made a beautiful inkable glitter, like we made pinks and purples and blues and all those things. So anything you dye this, you can put in with your embossing powder. So if you want black glittery, if you want clear glittery, orange glittery, whatever you want, you can create your own mixes. So from now on, we probably won't have many mixes, maybe like the odd special edition, because you can take this glitter and we'll also have a micro fine version of it at some point as well. This is like, I would say fine, but we can do like almost like powder. and it's glittery powder. So you can mix this in with your embossing powder. Again, round about a 3-to-1 ratio works pretty well. So either like 3-to-1, 4-to-1, something like that. And you can create your own glittery embossing powders. And remember, you can mix the glitters as well. So you can mix pink glitter and gold glitter together, or you can add some of the new pink champagne glitter into it. So you can really mix any of our glitters into your embossing powders, and you can also mix colors together as well. Beverly says Tim's Glazes beeswax. I'm not sure what you mean, Beverly. I'm not sure what you mean on that. And then the final one, which is really fun, is a way to make basically your own distress embossing powder. So say, for instance, what have I got here in my drawer? Let's grab one. These are all of our old ones. So I have Ice Jade. This was a green one that we had before. What's the name of that bottle? This one is our inkable glitter, and tonight it's half price. So that's one of our special offers of tonight. Um, Ranger glazes. Yeah, you can mix. Oh, you mean can you mix our stuff in with it? Yeah, absolutely. This applies to any embossing powder type of product. So this is Ice Jade. My top's stuck on. I'm just trying to not create a huge mess. I'm going to tip a little bit in here. And we do, if you want to do it by scoops and have it exact, you can do that too. So that's our Ice Jade. Now we also have our powdered snow additive. So this is our powdered snow. Lots of you have this, I know. And again, it's in tonight's special. So I tried to kind of link it to things we were using. And I would say it's like, I don't know, what's that, like 3-to-1, 4-to-1, something like that. You're going to want to mix it up well. And now you're going to have a distress embossing powder. So when this embosses, I'll show you what happens. Do a pumpkin. Let's take our little puff. I mean, you can also add some glitter to it too if you want. You can have a sparkle distress. The ink. So this is the layered pumpkin that's in tonight's special offer. Link will be in the video description below on YouTube if you're watching it later. I add it as soon as the live is done. Take a little bit of scrap. And so you can use the alchemy keepers and make your own custom blends and keep them in there. So you see I already kind of have like that verdigris, but you also can see it's got a nice little bit of color to it. It's kind of going to look a little bit like a little gourd. And so this would make a beautiful, think of this as like a fir tree with that like little bit of grit to it. And you can feel the texture, you can rub on it. And then it's also got that sparkle in it. Like to me, that just looks like a frosted evergreen. Super pretty way to do it. So you can make your own textured embossing powders, like distress style. And you can also make them all your embossing powders glittery. So, um, so you can really mix anything with anything. Let's do a little bit of the black. So I'll take some black. I'm going to take some pearl. You can see how much I measure. can already see the changing kind of color to it. I'm going to take another tag. I didn't powder this beforehand. So you can already see how the pearl dust has kind of changed the color a little bit. So it depends what angle I look at this. I don't know how well the camera's doing, but like if I look at it some ways, you see it's kind of almost black, and then as I tilt it, it becomes gold. So it goes black to gold. Like if I look at it like that, it's black, and then it goes back to gold again. So the more you put in of the pearl dust, the more of the interference is going to take over. But if you want to just have a little bit, then you can add more of the black and less of the pearl dust. So you can play with your kaleidoscope powders as well if you still have some of those, and kind of have fun with this as well. So again, so many ways you can customize your embossing powders. You don't have to keep buying colors. You can buy bases. And this is the whole idea of our creative alchemy, is you can get bases and then you can customize everything however you want it as you're creating. So whether you want to do texture, I love this one. Like I keep looking at this to the side. If you wanted to, you could thin it out with a little bit of ultra thick too, and it would give you even more of kind of like a iced look to it. But so you can take all the embossing powders you've got now and you can stretch them. You can add texture. And the chunky snow, if you have ultra thick embossing powder, you can definitely mix the chunky snow in. But the chunky snow on the regular embossing powder is just a little bit too thick. I find, for a texture, unless you particularly want something that's like super duper texture, but it's very heavy for embossing powder to hold. So make sure it's the ultra thick. Mini mica flakes, inkable glitter, pearl dust, Kool-Aid, Rit dye, any of that kind of stuff. So any of those things, you can have fun. Laurie says, great ideas. I have lots of embossing powders and don't have what I need. Could I draw on that? Would it dry? Yes, if I use Sharpie, it will dry. Or if you use an alcohol marker, it would dry. Um, and then on this one, yeah, I guess you could probably draw on top of it. But yeah, this is smooth. You can also alcohol ink on top of this. So I still have a little bit of pink alcohol ink here. Like that. See, it will dry on top. If you do it on black with the pigmented alcohol inks that we had, it's really pretty because you kind of get that texture. The other way to do it is to take a piece of black cardstock, do white embossing powder, and then do your alcohol inks on top, and you only see that. I'll quickly show you that. So, what do I have here that's dark? Is this black? I think it might be. It's a piece of black. No, you can't. Oh, to the inkable glitter. Yes, you can add your alcohol inks to the glitter. You can't add it to your embossing powder. If you add it to the embossing powder doesn't emboss anymore. It just creates a little flammable mess. But the alcohol ink on the inkable glitter, that's fine. Yeah, tried that one once. Didn't go so well. So I'm going to do this. I need some snow flurries. I think I still have some. So I'm going, hey, that's clean. This is crystal clear. Not mine don't have labels on it. This one. Shooting star. I think this had a white base in it. I'm going to hope this is white. Don't remember. This one's more glitter. I don't have any white. How do I not have white embossing powder? I don't have any. So this is not white in here, although it's very pretty. So if you have white and then you put alcohol ink on top, here, I'll show you where it will sit. I can't show the thing. So if you imagine everywhere that's glitter was, okay, that was glitter, that wasn't even a thing. Imagine everywhere that was glitter was white. You can then add alcohol ink over the top. And when you add alcohol ink on black, this is regular black cardstock. Remember, you don't see, this will all just, oh, that's got mica in here. I think this one's regular. See, you don't see it. It just soaks in. So this green would sit on the white and you would see it, but anywhere it's soaked in between, you would never notice. It just goes back to dark. So imagine you did a pumpkin and then you put it on top, the orange, you'd only see it on top of the embossing powder, not on the rest. We need white embossing powder back. We haven't got any yet. But that's another fun way that you can do it as well. So Deborah says she needs some recipe cards for each day. So we do have, if you're one of the Inktoberfest VIPs, one of the perks is I'm making recipe cards from the whole month and I'm sending them to you at the end. They won't ship until maybe like a week into November at least, because I have to finish making them all. But you can do that as well. So pearl dust, mica, chameleon powders, powdered snow, inkable glitters, mini mica flakes, mix different colors of embossing powder, Kool-Aid, Rit dye. So many ways you can use your embossing powders and customize them. So you know what I'm going to say. What one do you all want to try? What's your favorite? Um, Bo says if you mix regular embossing powder with the Maker Forte glitter, I would still say 3 to 1. Yeah. I need a new embossing tool. Well, this one I think was glitter that I picked up, not embossing powder. Lola wants to try the one with the jade. Jay wants to try all of them. Renee likes the idea of the Kool-Aid hack. Yes, I love it. So, um, Laurie wants to try all of them. Michelle likes the interference. I like the interference too. I like anything with interference, but I am kind of partial to that ice jade, how that came out. Super pretty. Smelly with glittery. Yeah, I mean you can combine any of these techniques as well. So remember that. So, if you can do the pearl and the glitter, you can do the pearl and you can do the snow additives. So you can do, mix and match all you want. So it's a really kind of fun technique as well. So um, let me see. Let's pick a winner for tonight. Our penultimate winner of the night. Thank you, Michelle. And our winner is Sandy. Congratulations, Sandy. I did send everyone's gift cards out up until today. So hopefully you should all have them in your inbox. As well. So they are in there too. So tomorrow night is obviously technically it's the end of Inktoberfest. But I'm going to do something over the weekend and I'll tell you about that tomorrow. And we're going to be working with pastes. So I'm going to talk to you about the ways and what inks you can use in pastes, how to use inks in pastes, what ratios to do, what if you add too much ink to your paste, how to rescue it, all that kind of stuff. So that's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow, is how to create your own colored pastes and effects kind of a little bit like this that you can do as well. So if you have your creative alchemy stuff, you can grab it tomorrow and we'll play along with some of those. And then we've got some other fun stuff and we'll have extra giveaways tomorrow as well. So make sure if you have the Zoom link, you're logged into the Zoom room. And of course, otherwise on YouTube, I am going to do a YouTube giveaway tomorrow as well. So make sure if you're not part of that, you have your YouTube up. So I will see you all tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. I'm super, super excited. We've got some fun stuff coming up. So I will see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of your Thursday night. And I will catch you tomorrow to talk all about pace. Good night.